This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner. I'm joined now by my co-host, Emily Compagno, and host of Kennedy on Fox Business, Kennedy herself. Yeah. Former State Department spokeswoman Morgan Ortagus. And in the center virtual seat today, Fox and Friends co-host and host of the Brian Kilmeade radio show, Brian Kilmeade himself. I want to get to this, and it's according to a recent Quinnipiac polling. Let's just take a look at where the president is again. 39% of voters in this poll approve of Biden's handling of the economy. 55% disapprove. Morgan, it just gets worse.
Well, listen, I went to the grocery store yesterday, Harris. You know, I like to shop on Sundays, like many Americans, like many moms. And I tweeted as I got out of the grocery store, man, groceries are really expensive right now, right? That was the whole tweet. I think I have over 4,000 likes on that tweet, which is a lot for me. Maybe not some of you. You guys have big followings. But it was just, as I went to check out the grocery store, I was shocked. And I thought, you know, this is an annoyance for me, thank God, but I don't have to worry about providing and being able to put food on the table for my daughter. And it really, like, I almost teared up in the grocery line. I went home, and here in Nashville, I looked up a food pantry that I could donate to. And I had done that during the pandemic, during the shutdown, when so many people were out of work. And I just challenge all of us and any of our viewers, if you can afford an extra $50 or $100, give it to your local food bank, because I cannot imagine what it's like. I was annoyed yesterday at the grocery store. I cannot imagine what it's like to actually be worried to feed my baby, to feed my child. And that's what a lot of Americans are going through right now. It's not just the inconvenience, as you said, if you want to buy a car right now, it's almost impossible to find the inventory. It goes beyond that. We're starting to see people really hurting from these prices. And then, of course, not to mention, as you all said, if you go to a restaurant anywhere in America right now, you see help wanted signs, you're waiting an extra 30 minutes for your food, and you're paying probably, 20% more than you paid a few months ago.
You know, I love the way you framed that from the beginning of your comments, Emily and Kennedy. It's a certain grade of entitlement now just to be able to go to the grocery store and afford the bill at the end.
And Morgan, part of the impetus for that particular law, the blue and pink law, is the assemblyman out of San Jose that wrote it said his daughter or friend's daughter or something said to him, oh, I'm not allowed in that boys section. So now instilling this corrective, expensive behavior at the expense of all of these businesses and shoppers and employees is because one child thought it was off limits. Wouldn't that be a parental job? Wouldn't it be to open up pink for everyone rather than confining certain things and making it just about yellow? Like, it seems that the answer shouldn't be over-regulation, overburdening, and over-constriction. Instead, it just should be more conversation.
Yeah, this isn't hard. Do your job as a parent. Explain to your daughter that girls can be anything they want to be in this country. And don't teach our daughters that femininity is a weakness. Harris and I have talked about this before, and it drives me nuts. I can wear Louboutins one day if I want to, and my Navy uniform the next day. And I am just as powerful as any man in that uniform. And the next day, if I've got my pink tulle skirt on, I'm just as smart as any girl or man in the room as well. The problem with all of this stuff is that we're not teaching our children, we're not teaching our girls and our boys that they can like pink, they can like blue, and we're not teaching them that their inherent femininity or their inherent masculine side is also strength, it's also powerful. All of this gender neutral stuff that we're doing with the toys and all of this, it's beyond silly, right? And I want to empower girls. I want them to be whatever they want to be, as I've talked about many times. But what Gavin Newsom should be focusing on is not the toilet aisle. He should be focusing on the fact that there is rampant homelessness, a crime and a drug epidemic in California. How about focusing on that and let parents teach their kids to believe in themselves and to be whatever they want to be, instead of mandating to businesses what needs to be in the restroom or what needs to be in the toy aisle.
Find out till 5 o'clock this morning that it was canceled, and then we were on the phone for what, 7 hours?
7 hours before
44 minutes before they answered the phone because it was so backlogged.
They said they were having problems. They wouldn't say what it was. And you're lucky you got a flight.
The weather's fine in all connecting areas. There's no bad weather. There's got to be something behind the scenes that they're not telling us.
That's right.
And Morgan, that's why people are requiring or requesting there to be alternatives. There's a way to go about the push by the administration in a less draconian way.
Yeah, so in the case of Southwest, as it relates to these private businesses, they're mandating the vaccines, and I believe that private entities should be able to do that. But I thought to myself when all of this started, where are the unions in all of this? There's going to be a ton of pushback, whether it's federal unions or, the union that, of course, you're seeing not just for Southwest, but for other airlines. And so these sorts of things have to go through the process. They should have been negotiated with the heads of the unions. Especially for private sector companies, you have to say, does the company mandate any other vaccines? And listen, the bottom line is, as many of you have pointed out, I'm a big supporter of the vaccine. I think you should talk to your doctor about it and make the right decision. But these sort of draconian ways of ruling hand over fist over people without including everyone in the process is what's leading to the backlash.
Basically, nobody else in his office is doing it. Parts of his administration are trying, but he gave it to her. So trying, I don't know, Brian. I think she's got to do better than try.
I like to, first steps, baby steps.
Baby steps, okay, but she's the vice president. Wah, baby. Okay, Morgan.
It's interesting because everything that the president or the vice president does, it's all about imagery, right? And we always see the president and his beloved ice cream. I like ice cream too, I don't blame him. Now we see the vice president at bakeries. As an aside, whatever happened to the apples that were in the Obama White House when we were all supposed to be healthier? Anyway, I digress. But it does sort of have this let them eat cake feeling, doesn't it? Whenever we're all going to the grocery store and we're paying, a lot more for each bag than we paid a year ago, when gas is high, when there's worker shortages, and I guess from a comms perspective, I don't understand why the White House has the president eating ice cream and the vice president eating bakeries and sweets. It just all seems, I think it's indicative actually of how out of touch they all are. Let everybody eat cake.
Okay, Morgan Freeman distancing himself from the progressive left during a recent interview. The Academy Award-winning actor says he does not support defunding the police.
I'm not in the least bit for defunding the police. Police work is, aside from all the negativity around it, it is very necessary for us to have them. And most of them are guys that are doing their job. They're going about their day-to-day jobs.
Morgan.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff just can't be undone or fixed so quickly or so easily. And what I mean by that is I was reading in the New York Times this morning that LA Police Department is getting a 3% increase. I think New York Police Department got about $200 million more. So around the country, all the cities where we were quote unquote defunding the police, people a year later, after rampant crime and drugs and everything else that's going on, people are saying, oh, wait a minute, maybe that wasn't a good idea. But just throwing more money at it after a year, if not more, of demonizing the police is not going to fix the small business that was burned down or the communities that were turned apart. This is going to take some time.
Let it be, let it be, let it be. Yeah, there will be.
Sir Paul McCartney putting to bed any notion that he was the reason for the infamous Beatles breakup. For over 5 decades, many have speculated over who exactly incited the band split. McCartney had this to say: "I didn't instigate the split. That was our Johnny. John walked into a room one day and said, 'I am leaving the Beatles.' Or more like, 'I am leaving the Beatles.' Is that instigating the split or not?" Brian, this is so important to national security. Your thoughts?
Well, it's the ongoing debate, along with why did the Dodgers leave Brooklyn, is what broke up the Beatles. There's really nothing new here, because John Lennon might have said I left, but they always blame Yoko. Yoko could have told him, you're better off on your own. They're holding you back. That's why I'm breaking up. And they kept quiet because they say they had more business to do separately. My feeling is they would have had that lunatic not shot John Lennon. They would have gotten back together a few times, went back to their solo careers, and the next time they would have been back would have been Live Aid. But Kennedy, you know best.
Yes, Kennedy, tell us and also, does he have an English accent? Because I think I just messed that up. But whatever.
Paul McCartney?
No, John Lennon.
Not anymore. God rest
Exactly.
his soul.
Oh, goodness.
But yes, he did. Yeah. No, they absolutely did. Cockney rhyming slang, big deal. I've grown more fond of Yoko Ono over the years. And, you know, sometimes bands break up, and he was more artistically whole with her. And I think, you know, she's always been blamed for this, but maybe Paul was a real pain in the keister. And maybe John was no longer happy. So because their music made you happy for a long time, you're going to force them to be together? Maybe Yoko was his other half, and he finally experienced true love and true artistry. I cannot blame him for that.
That's true. Everyone always blames Eve. But there's two people in the garden.
Are you talking about the Bible?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
We are going to draw the line of the difference here, right? Kennedy, I could listen to you talk about this stuff all day, though. I mean, your pedigree, your past with MTV and so on and so forth. I mean, you've been there at every turn with politics and everything. There is a lot going on in those upper echelons of celebrity that we don't know about, that Kennedy knows.
Yes. Morgan, quick, tell us, do you think it's Yoko or do you think it's John? Do you think it's Paul?
Well, I agree with Kennedy. All I got from getting out of this story is that Paul McCartney let everyone blame Yoko Ono for 5 decades. So thanks for, you know, letting that happen for 5 decades.
That's true. I want to hear her statement. But she's busy doing really cool things, to your point, Kennedy. Philanthropy and a lot of great art and everything like that. But all right, the mystery remains potentially. Thanks to everyone. And now here's America Reports.